Hello class, it's Mrs. Henny again. I'm going to help you with tonight's homework, which is set 15, problem of the day. Parents, if you hear them call it POD, it stands for problem of the day. Okay, so to get started, we always have to think about what we're going to do to understand the problem. And we have a little chant that says, to understand the problem, you have to read the problem. So I'm going to read the problem, and you read it with me. Caleb read 52 words in 1 minute. At this rate, how many words will he read in 20 minutes? Okay, so I read the problem. That's the first thing. Now, my question mark reminds me that I'm going to say, what am I looking for? And the place that I'm going to find what I'm looking for is going to be in the question. And here is the question. So I'm going to go ahead and bracket it, and I'm going to look for what I don't know. How many words will he read in 20 minutes? Okay, so what I'm going to be looking for is total words. Okay, look for total words. So I'm going to put a big T on words for total. One thing I know, and you know the next thing we always say is, what do I know? Circle the numbers. But I'm only going to circle the numbers that are going to help me. And this is one thing I know. I know there are 52 words in 1 minute. So another way I could say that is I could say each minute has 52 words. But I'm just going to write it like that. If you want to, underneath you can put each, because you know that you know the each. So when you're drawing your picture in each box or each circle, you know it's 52. And then we also know that there are going to be 20 minutes. So that's another thing that I know. Now I didn't put 20 minutes up here because that's something I do know, so I'm going to leave it down here. So all I'm really looking for is total words. All right, so now for my plan. In my plan, I could make a circle diagram or I could make a strip diagram. If I were going to make a strip diagram, this is how I would do it. Remember that you always need a total line, and that total line can go on the top or the bottom. Let's say we're going to put it on the top. I don't know my total, so I'm going to put either a question mark or a variable. And you know a variable is just a letter that represents that question mark. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to put a question mark for that right now. Okay, so I don't know my total. I know that in 1 minute, this is each minute, 1 minute, that he can read 52 words. I know in this minute he can read 52 words. And I know in this minute he can read 52 words. And I'm supposed to draw 20 of those, aren't I? But we don't have enough room, and that would take forever. So we're just going to pretend like there are 20 of those boxes. Okay? We're going to pretend like there's 20 of those boxes. Now, if I was going to draw this as a circle diagram, I would say, okay, here's a minute, 52. Here's a minute, 52. Here's a minute, 52. And I'm going to pretend like I'm drawing 20 of those, and then I have a total that I don't know. And again, instead of a question mark, I could put it as a variable, like say T for total. Okay, now this is the thinking pattern. I'm going to think about that I have all equal groups, because all of my groups are 52, 52, 52, 52. So that's equal groups. I know that. Now I have to decide, am I putting those together to get a total, or am I taking them apart to find how much is in each one? I am putting them together. So that's equal groups put together. And we know that equal groups put together tells us to, hopefully you said multiply. So now I'm going to come down to my solve box and I'm going to multiply. And I'm going to take what I know right up here. There are 52 words in 1 minute, which I put in my picture. And there are 20 minutes. So 52 times 20. And it would be just fine if you wrote 20 times 52. Either way is just fine. And I can use an area model to solve this problem, or I can use the traditional method with O. Henry. If I was going to do an area model, it would look like this. And because 20 already has a 0, I just have to put one line here. Then this needs to be 50 plus 2. Okay, so now I can multiply that. 50 times 20, 5 times 2, I'm just going to look at my basic fact, is 10 with 1, 2 zeros, so that's 1,000. And then 2 times 20, 2 times 2 is 4 with 1 0 is 40. So that would equal 1,000 plus 40 is 1,040. So that's my answer. You could read 1,040 words in 20 minutes. And that'd be total words. Now, if I was going to work this out with the traditional method, I would do it like this. Okay, now I don't even have to really do the 0, but I'm going to go ahead and do that just to make sure that we understand. 0 times 2 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. Now I'm done with that 0. Now I need O. Henry to remind me to hold that place. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. And now I add those up, and I get the same answer that I got from the area model. Now I'm going to do my check. And remember that when I'm doing my check, I've got two parts. I've got to make sure that it's reasonable, and also if there is any way to check my computation, I'll do that. So I'm going to say, yes, we are multiplying. So we should go from a small number to a big number. Let's look. We started with 52. We ended with 1,040. So did we get bigger? Yes, so that checks for reasonableness. There's really not any other way to check the computation other than if you wanted to check your traditional method by doing the box method. And so that's how we check it. Now the last part says to explain, and so I'm going to let you explain that yourself in a sentence. And if you are having trouble with that, start out by saying, first I then I did this, and then I did this. Just explain to me what you did to get your answer. If you need to use more than one sentence, that's fine. Just write small and make sure you use capital letters and periods. Thank you for listening, and I'm going to let you finish the last of that on your own.